Imagine standing before Allah on the day of judgment, and your book of deeds is opened. You're excited, you're hopeful, because you prayed, you fasted, you helped people, you gave charity, but then suddenly, page after page, your good deeds start disappearing, vanishing, turning into dust, and you're standing there confused, terrified, helpless, because the deeds you spent your whole life doing were ruined by your own words, your own ego, your own actions, and you didn't even realize it. My brothers and sisters, this is not a story. This is a warning, a real possibility. Many people will come on that day with mountains of good deeds, only to lose them all within seconds. And today I want to tell you how to protect every good deed you ever did before it's too late. Sincerity is the invisible force that gives life to every good deed, and without it, even the most beautiful act can become hollow and lifeless. When a person prays, gives charity, helps others, or speaks kindly, the outside world might see goodness, but Allah looks much deeper. He looks at the intention that lived inside the heart at that very moment. Sometimes a person may do something that looks insignificant to the world, perhaps giving a small coin to someone in need or offering a gentle word to a heart that's breaking, and yet in the eyes of Allah, that deed becomes enormous because it was done purely for His sake. On the other hand, someone may donate large amounts, pray loudly, help crowds of people, or show big gestures of kindness, but because the heart was seeking praise, attention, or admiration, those deeds shrink into almost nothing. The value of a deed increases or decreases based on sincerity, not size. And sincerity is not something you can see with your eyes. It is a secret between the slave and his Lord. Many people fall into the trap of performing good deeds so that others notice. They want to hear compliments. They want to be seen as generous, religious, humble, or kind. But the moment a deed is performed for someone other than Allah, even partially, it becomes mixed with impurities, and impurities weaken the deed. Imagine having a glass of pure water. Just a drop of ink changes its entire color. That is what happens when a pure intention is touched by the desire for praise. It changes the whole essence of the act. A person might still get the praise they are chasing, but the heavenly reward begins to vanish. Even worse, a person can become addicted to the attention that comes with doing good things publicly, and this addiction becomes a form of spiritual slavery, seeking people's approval instead of Allah's. One of the greatest losses is when someone starts depending on the eyes of people to feel good about their worship. They cannot pray unless someone is watching. They cannot give charity unless people know. They cannot help unless their act becomes a post or a story. This mindset steals from them the sweetness of worship, because the true joy of a good deed comes when Allah accepts it, not when people applaud it. Acceptance from Allah is the real victory, but acceptance from people often becomes the goal, even though it brings no benefit in the hereafter. On the day of judgment, those same people whose opinions we chased will be desperate to save themselves. Their praise will not help us. Their applause will not save us. Only the deeds done purely for Allah will shine on that day. What many people don't realize is that sincerity is deeply connected to humility. A humble heart knows that all good comes from Allah to begin with. When you pray, it's because Allah allowed you to stand. When you give, it's because He gave you something to give. When you help, it's because He chose you as a means to bring relief. When this understanding enters your heart, pride disappears naturally. You don't look for praise because you know the credit never belonged to you. You were simply the one whom Allah used for something beautiful. This is why sincere people can do good in silence. They do not need the world to know what they did. They are content knowing that Allah saw them, the angels recorded the deed, and their reward is safe in the unseen. Sincerity also brings peace to the heart. When you act only for Allah, people's opinions stop affecting you. Their praise does not lift you, and their criticism does not break you. You become stable, anchored, and free. You live with a quiet kind of confidence because your intentions are rooted not in the shifting moods of human beings, but in the eternal pleasure of Allah. There is a special sweetness in worship done secretly. It feels like a private conversation with Allah, a moment where the world disappears and only your Creator remains in focus. These moments are the ones that build a person spiritually. They clean the heart from the inside and strengthen the soul in a way that public deeds cannot. But sincerity is not automatic. It must be worked on consistently. The heart changes quickly, and a deed that begins sincerely can become corrupted halfway through. That is why scholars remind us to renew our intentions again and again. Before you act, ask yourself who you're doing it for. During the act, check your heart again. After the act, reflect on whether pride entered or the desire to share it appeared. The more you practice this, the more natural sincerity becomes. Over time, you will begin to enjoy doing things quietly away from people's eyes because you will realize how much calmer, safer, and lighter the heart feels this way. True sincerity transforms ordinary actions into extraordinary worship. A sincere smile becomes charity. A sincere apology becomes a mountain of reward. A sincere dua whispered late at night becomes a reason for mercy to descend. With sincerity, even small deeds open huge doors. Without sincerity, even large deeds remain closed. So protect your heart, polish your intention, and let your deeds belong only to the one who will reward them in full. The tongue is one of the smallest parts of the body, yet it carries the power to shape a person's destiny in the hereafter. Many people pray, fast, recite, and give charity, but they lose their rewards because of careless words that flow from their mouths. A single sentence spoken in anger, a mocking comment, an insult thrown casually, or a piece of gossip passed on without a second thought can destroy the good deeds a person spent years collecting. This reality should shake every believer. The tongue may feel light, but its consequences are heavy. It can elevate a person to great ranks, or it can drag them into a state they never imagined simply because they did not guard it. The frightening part is that words travel faster than actions. You don't need strength to speak. You don't need preparation to insult, and you don't need effort to backbite. Sometimes the worst sins are the ones done with the least effort, and this is why the tongue is so dangerous. When someone backbites, they take a bite out of their own good deeds and hand them to the person they spoke about. When someone mocks another person's appearance, their voice, their mistakes, or their life struggles, they are writing their own humiliation in the next world. How can a person expect mercy from Allah when they show no mercy in the way they speak? How can someone hope for forgiveness when their words constantly wound the hearts of others? Every heart has value in the sight of Allah, and the one who breaks hearts with their tongue does not realize how much damage they are causing. Some people destroy marriages with their words. Some destroy friendships, families, peace, and trust. Some destroy a person's reputation with a single comment. But perhaps the greatest loss is when they destroy their own good deeds, throwing them away for a few moments of entertainment or anger. The tongue becomes especially dangerous when people feel superior. Arrogance makes a person talk down to others, judge them, and ridicule them. It blinds them from their own flaws and makes them obsessed with pointing out the flaws of others. But the one who mocks someone today may find themselves in the same situation tomorrow, and people will mock them the same way. Life has a strange way of turning things around, but Allah's justice is perfect. Words that humiliate others often come back to humiliate the one who spoke them. People forget, but Allah does not forget. Every word is written, every whisper recorded, every insult stored, every lie counted. The book of deeds does not miss a single letter. Another way people waste their deeds with their tongue is by reminding others of the favors they've done. This is a hidden poison. A person helps someone once and then reminds them again and again, turning what was once a beautiful deed into a tool for control or superiority. Allah describes this behavior as one that destroys the reward of charity, just like heavy rain destroys crops. When you remind someone of your kindness, you are not being kind anymore. You are feeding your ego. A deed done for Allah should not turn into a weapon used against people. If you give, give quietly. If you help, help sincerely. If you forgive, forgive completely. The reward is with Allah, not with the person you helped. The moment your heart seeks gratitude or recognition from people, you begin losing your spiritual investment. But when you help for Allah alone, you never feel disappointed, even if people forget your kindness, because you know Allah never forgets. There is also the danger of spreading rumors or sharing information without verifying it. One rumor can ruin someone's life, destroy their honor, or break their family. Yet people pass on such things casually because it gives them something to talk about. But on the day of judgment, those same rumors will stand as witnesses against the one who spread them. Imagine losing thousands of good deeds because of one false story you repeated. Imagine meeting Allah with a book full of worship, but finding it empty because you used your tongue irresponsibly. The believer should fear the damage of the tongue more than the damage of physical harm. A wound on the body heals, but a wound caused by words may never heal. And Allah will question every wound you caused. To protect our deeds, we must protect our speech. Silence is not weakness, silence is wisdom. The one who pauses before speaking saves themselves from countless regrets. Before you say anything, ask yourself, will Allah be pleased with what I'm about to say? Will this hurt someone's heart? Will this benefit me in the hereafter? If the answer is no, silence is far better. If your words will bring comfort, healing, truth, or kindness, then speak. A gentle word, a sincere apology, a kind reminder, or a simple "I'm here for you" can become a mountain of reward. The tongue has the power to destroy, but it also has the power to heal. Choose your words carefully because your deeds depend on them. A person's true strength is not seen in how sharp their tongue is, but in how well they control it. Guard your speech and you will guard your good deeds. Good deeds are like delicate treasures placed in your hands by Allah, and every believer must learn how to guard them with love, fear, humility, and awareness. It is easy to perform a good action, but it is much harder to protect that action from being damaged afterward. Many people work hard in worship, pray on time, recite beautifully, give charity, fast regularly, and help those in need, yet they don't realize how quickly their good deeds can be wiped away by arrogance, by showing off, by hurting others, or by letting the heart become corrupted. Protecting your deeds means understanding that every action you do for Allah is precious, and it deserves to be handled with care, just like a fragile jewel that can shatter if dropped even once. When a believer truly understands the value of their actions, they begin to guard their deeds with the same seriousness with which they guard their most valuable belongings. One of the most important ways to protect your deeds is to hide them when possible. Hidden worship has a special sweetness because only Allah knows about it. When you do something good quietly without posting it, without telling people, without expecting praise, you build something pure between you and your Creator. There is a certain power in secret acts of goodness. They protect your humility, keep your intention clean, and make you less dependent on the approval of others. Public deeds are not wrong when done for the right reasons, but they are always at risk of becoming mixed with ego. The moment a person begins to seek attention or admiration, the value of the deed shrinks. So protecting your deeds often means choosing silence over announcement, choosing privacy over display, and choosing sincerity over recognition. Another important way to guard your deeds is by watching your heart after you've done them. Sometimes a person performs a beautiful act with sincerity, but afterward, pride enters. They begin to think they are better than others. They begin to look down on people who struggle with the things they find easy, or they begin to expect special treatment because they have done something good. This is one of the fastest ways to ruin a deed. Arrogance is a poison that kills good actions from the inside. The moment a believer feels they are superior because of their worship, they should know that the deed is already in danger. The more you do good, the more humble you should become, because it is Allah who gave you the ability to perform that good deed in the first place. You did not pray by your own power. Allah allowed you to stand. You did not give charity by your own wealth. Allah gave you the money. You did not forgive by your own strength. Allah softened your heart. Reminding yourself of this truth protects your deeds from pride and keeps your heart clean. Forgiving others is another powerful way to guard your deeds. When you refuse to forgive, you carry anger in your heart, and that anger slowly begins to consume your energy, your peace, and your reward. Some people pray beautifully, but hold grudges so deeply that it affects their behavior, their speech, and even their relationship with Allah. Forgiveness is not easy, but it frees your heart and allows your deeds to shine without being overshadowed by bitterness. When you forgive someone secretly, purely for the sake of Allah, you build castles in Jannah without even lifting a stone. When you let go of a grudge, Allah fills your heart with peace and your deeds become safer from being erased by negative emotions. Another way to protect your deeds is to avoid comparing your worship with others. Comparison leads either to pride or to envy. Both are destructive. If you think you are better than someone because you pray more, you've already entered a dangerous state. If you envy someone else's worship or blessings, you risk developing resentment. Protecting your deeds means focusing on your own journey, your own heart, and your own relationship with Allah, without letting comparison steal your sincerity. Every person has different strengths and weaknesses, and Allah judges them accordingly. What matters is not how much you do compared to others, but how sincerely you do what you can. A believer must also protect their deeds from being ruined on the day of judgment by wronging others. Good deeds can be transferred from one person to another if you have harmed them, mocked them, cheated them, or spoken badly about them. Imagine spending your whole life building a beautiful garden of worship, only to hand it over to the people you wronged. This thought alone should make a believer extremely careful about their behavior toward others. Kindness is not just virtues, it is protection for your own deeds. The more gentle, patient, and respectful you are, the safer your good actions remain. Finally, guarding your deeds means constantly renewing your intention. Before you act, ask yourself, why am I doing this? During the act, make sure the heart remains focused on Allah. After the act, thank Allah for allowing you to perform it and ask Him to accept it. This cycle of renewal protects the deed from corruption and keeps your heart steady. A pure intention is like a shield. It prevents the whispers of ego and the influence of people's opinions from damaging what you've built. Protecting your deeds is not a one-time effort. It is a lifelong discipline. Each day brings new temptations, pride, showing off, anger, gossip, comparison, but the believer who is conscious of Allah learns to navigate these dangers carefully. When you protect your deeds, you protect your hereafter. When you guard your actions, you guard your soul. And when you value every moment spent for Allah, you build a life that is full of purpose, sincerity, and reward.